Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. Before I begin tonight, I would just like to read a short message that I received last week from a friend of mine. Because I did not get a chance to ask them if it would be okay that I used it in this presentation, I decided to keep it anonymous for now. Quote, Anthony, finals have been very difficult on me this semester. Between the 10-page essays and tests, I have been working long, sleepless nights for the past couple weeks. And without sleep, I am getting cranky, flustered, and extremely tired. Anthony, this is making me feel like a sleep-deprived ball of sadness. I began to think that my work is not good enough, that I am not good enough. End quote. How many of you here tonight have ever been so stressed, so overworked, that you have fallen into this ball of sadness, that you don't know what to do? Please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Now, my friend, she eventually calmed down. And when she calmed down, we began to talk about the end of the semester, being able to see all of our friends, the holidays coming up. We started to actually get really excited. But you know what? This essay, this message really stuck with me. I got curious as to what depression was. I got curious, and this is what I found out. 1 out of every 2 students reports feeling depression. And I guarantee you, if you ask your kids, they'll probably say they're depressed right now because of all the finals and essays. 19% of college students contemplate suicide because of major depression. That's 1/5 of the students in this room, as an example. Approximately 18.8 million adults suffer from depression. And here's the worst one of all. At least 4%, that's over 1 million people, of preschoolers are clinically depressed. Please, how is a preschooler, someone who barely understands the concept of life, how is it that they are clinically depressed? I didn't understand. So I decided to look further. I decided to find the top 10 causes of sadness. This is according to one survey done by psychologycentral.org. These are in no specific order. Jealousy, persecution complexes, which is when you hear people say, the world is out to get me, that people are trying to get me. Lack of accountability, perfectionism, excessive reasoning, pessimism, assuming the worst of others, low self-esteem, low self-efficiency, and meaninglessness. You feel that your life no longer has meaning. How many of you here tonight have ever been sad or depressed because of one of these factors? Raise your hand. Nearly everybody's hand is up. And I guarantee you that if I asked one more question, everybody's hand would be up. How many of you have just ever been sad? Please raise your hand. Everybody's hand is up. So now, after viewing my friend's message, after seeing these statistics, I began to think, what is happiness? What is this thing that unites people, no matter what their skin tone is, no matter what their age, no matter what their sex, no matter what their religion? What is it? And why is it seemingly so hard to create this happiness? Why is it that in the Declaration of Independence did they put the pursuit of happiness instead of just happiness or the attainment of happiness? Are we supposed to be sad? Is life supposed to be a constant pursuit and then finally a letdown? No. I refuse to accept this, and I will tell you why. It has been my experience that something becomes truly sweet when you have pursued it, when you have worked hard for it. That is when something becomes truly sweet. Now, what makes happiness the sweetest thing of all? There are 2 things. First, even though there is a legal definition for what happiness is, I guarantee you, if I asked each and every one of you, what is happiness to you, you would each give me a separate response. Here's an example. Lisa, what's happiness to you? Being successful. What's happiness to you?
Not having problems.
Not having problems. Huh? As you see, I guarantee if I gave you each a sheet of paper and asked you to write down what is happiness to you, they might be similar. They might be happiness is love, happiness is success, happiness is independence. But guess what? No two things are going to have the same meaning. Now, the second reason why happiness is the sweetest thing of all is because you can stop pursuing it, and at any moment, any instant, you can create happiness. Just a smile. Now, here's an example. You're overworked. You just failed the test. Work's not looking too good. You're more than likely going to get fired because of downsizing. You no longer have that everlasting happiness in mind, because all you're focusing on is right now, how bad right now is. So, what do? This is the moment where, me personally, this is the moment where I say, I woke up this morning. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes to put on my back. And I have something to eat. You see, I just created happiness for that moment. And that moment is what's going to help me get back on track to that everlasting happiness. So, how do we create happiness? Step one, define. You have to define what happiness is. And I don't mean you just got to be like, happiness is blah, 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 blah. No. You got to get a pen, you got to get a piece of paper, and you got to write, happiness to me is. And you got to sign it at the bottom, promising yourself that this is what happiness is. I guarantee you, most of you are even happy and you don't even know it. I'm going to show you right now. How many of the parents in the room, please, by a show of hands, would consider happiness knowing that their kids grew up to become good people? Please, show me. I promise each and every one of you that all of your kids, sons, daughters, have grown up to become truly remarkable people. I have learned so much from them this semester. My only hope is that I have taught them as much as I have gained from them. After you define happiness, you have to dream. Now, you can't just create a dream. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to create a dream that is based off of your definition. And in doing so, you will basically know that once you attain that dream, you will have happiness. Because you wrote it on a piece of paper, you promised yourself that this is happiness, and now you're making a dream out of it. Step 3, you have to understand. You have to understand that the bigger your dream is, the harder and more sad times that you're going to have to go through. But this goes back to the pursuit. That dream will be so much sweeter once achieved if you worked hard for it. And you have to understand that sad times do come and hard times do come. But what you have to understand is at the end of that sad time, at the end of that difficult time, you will have either happiness or your goal. And since you already created your goal based off of happiness, you're going to have happiness and your goal. Step 4, think. What is the most logical way for me to accomplish my goal? Is it for me to travel the world, or is it for me to get an education? You have to think what makes you happy, and you have to think what is the best way to do it. Step 5, the most important step. Take action. Not tomorrow, now. You have to define happiness, you have to dream happiness, you have to understand happiness, think happiness, and then you have to take action. Take a step towards your happiness, because this is your journey, your dream, your goal, your quest, your happiness. And you only have so many days to achieve this happiness. So you better start taking action now. Because at the end of the day, not today, the day, your life, the only thing that's gonna matter is, am I happy? Thank you so much for your time.